morning to all. I'm Dr. V. Taringa from Department of Kaplan Institute of Engineering and Technology. So today the topic is electrical safety practices and standards. So it's, we look into the electricity and rules and regulations, electrical standards for national fire protection associations, OSHA standards, IEEE standard, National Electrical Safety Code, then what are the statutory requirements from the electrical inspectorates. So as per the Indian government, the Electricity Act 2003, it covers the electricity sector in India to consolidate the law related to the transmission, distribution, trading, and supply of electricity. It promotes competition, efficiency, and transparency in the sector while ensuring consumer protection and environmental sustainability. The objective of the Electricity Act establishing the legal framework for the electricity sector, promoting competition and market efficiency, ensuring consumer protections, regulating safety standards and environmental protections. And for the key components of the Electricity Act, licensing and permitting requirements, safety regulations, grid connection and interconnection rules, consumer protection measures, environmental regulations, enforcement of mechanisms and penalties. Electricity Act regulations, they can provide examples of specific regulations commonly found in the Electricity Act, safety standards for the electrical installations, grid code governing the operation of electricity grid, renewable energy mandates and incentives, tariff regulations for raising electricity, environmental standards for power plants, and compliances and enforcement, challenges and future plans. So the objective of the Electricity Act, it includes to consolidate the law relating to the generation, transmission, distribution, trading and use of electricity, to take measures suitable for development of electricity industry, to promote competitions, to protect the interests of consumers and supply of electricity to all areas, to ensure transparent policy regarding subsidies, to promote efficient and environmentally efficient policies, to constitute the Central Electricity Authority and regulatory commissions. So these are the main features of Electricity Act from the generation free, captive generation free from control, restructuring of the state electricity board, mandatory establishment of the regulatory commissions, open access in the transmission and distributions, and then electricity trading, rationalization of the electricity tariff. So from this act, the role of government, the central government will prepare the electricity policy and tariff policy, focus on the rural area, permitting standardized system, and for the renewable energy in consultation with the state for the bulk purchase of the power and distribution to the panchayat, corporate society, non-governmental organization, and franchise. The constitution of State Regulatory Commission is a mandatory requirement if subsidy is provided by a central state government. Provision has to be created in the budget. This one is for the rural electrifications. The government has to extend supply of electricity to all village hamlets. No license is required for generation and distribution in rural areas. So this is for the to the generation free from the licensing and captive generation is free from the control, and the transmission, the utility at central as well as the state level. The distribution side and the renewable energy. Consumer side, the Electricity Act, it governs the consumer to be given connection with the stipulated time, penalty in case of failure to give connections, then scheme for the consumer grievance or redressal, regulatory commissions to specify electricity supply code to be followed by the licenses, appellate tribunal to hear appeals from the consumer against the decision of the state and central electricity regulatory. The next one is for the trading and market development. Trading is being permitted with the licensing and the safeguard of the regulatory commissions. Regulatory commissions also have authority to fix the ceiling of the trading margin if necessary to avoid the artificial volumes fluctuations. Then this is the role of Central Electricity Authority (CEA) and having a tariff principles for the appropriate producers. So this is for the National Fire Production Associations 70E. So one of the standard in for the electrical safety. It's a standard developed by the National Fire Production Association to ensure the electrical safety in the workplaces. So this will provide a guidance for the preventing electrical assaults, protecting workers from the electrical injuries, and maintaining a safe work environment. The scope and purpose is the scope it covers electrical safety requirement for the employee in the workplaces. The purpose of this standard is primary aid to reduce exposure to risk of electric shock, arc flash, and arc blast. So these are the work practices based on the energized versus de-energized work, establishing them electrically safe work conditions and risk assessment. Hierarchy of your control, elimination, remove the hazard, substitution, replace the hazards with a less dangerous one, engineering control, isolate people from the hazards, administrative control, change the way people work, then using of the proper PPE, personal protective equipments. The components of the electrical safety program, it includes policies and procedure, training and education, auditing and continuous improvement, establishing safe work practices, then working on or near the live equipments, then personal protective equipments, and again based on the types of PPE and the PPE categories. This is for the R plus boundary. They can understanding the R flash boundary, the distance at which arc source within the person could receive a secondary one if arc flash is circular. Then is required to determine the level of PPE and the safe workplaces. This is for the importance of the training to avoid accidents. The next standard is the IEEE standard. It's the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineering. It's a professional organization dedicated to the advancing technology. For the IEEE standard purpose for the electrical safety, we establish safety requirements and guidelines to protect workers from electrical hazards, to promote best practices for the electrical safety in various industries. So these are the key standards for electrical safety. IEEE 1585, guide for performing arc flash hazard category. IEEE 307.1, recommended practice for the operation and management of industrial and commercial power systems. IEEE C2, National Electrical Safety Code. So this is the IEEE 1584. They developed to provide the method for calculating the arc flash hazards in the electrical systems. The key components used are determine the potential energy released during the arc flash event, That is a arc flux instant energy analysis. Next one is here arc flux production boundary. They determine the distance at which PP is required. This is for the IEEE 307 3007.1 operation and management of power systems. This will provide guidelines for safe operation and management of industrial and commercial power systems. The next one is IEEE C2. They can provide guidelines for the National Electrical Safety Code. This will set the ground rules for the installation, operation and maintenance of the electric supply and communications lines. Next standard is a OSHA standard. It's occupational safety and the administrations. This will set and enforce standard to ensure safe and healthful working condition, including those related to electrical safety. So it consists of two sections of Code of Federal Regulations. One we can is a 29 Code of Federal Regulations 19 times subpart as the general industry, and it can be applicable. Then another for the second section is a 29 CFR 1926 subpart K. This is relevant to a construction part. So this is a general industry. For that section, they can cover electrical safety requirement for all general industry workplace. They can be divided into 4 parts. They based on the code 1910.301 to 308 is applicable for design safety standard for electrical systems. So 303 for general requirements, 305 for the wiring methods, components and equipments. 307 is applicable for the hazardous locations. So 1910.3312, 1910.337 is applicable for the electrical safety related practices. So they given the scope and training for the section from 0.331 to 0.335. So this is for the another section in the OSHA standard is applicable for the construction site. This will cover the electrical safety requirements specifically for the construction sites. For this one 1926 for 400 to 1926.449. So 403 is for general requirements, 404 for the wiring design and productions, 405 for wiring methods, components and equipment for the general use, 416 for the general safety requirement, 414 for the lockout and tagging of the circuits. This is a OSHA standard. Based on that they giving a LOTO procedure, PPE, training and the complaints and enforces. So this will the next section will cover as here statutory requirements from the electrical inspectorate. This will outline the common statutory requirement typically enforce electrical installation standard, licensing and certifications, inspection and testing, safety protocol, documentation and record keeping, energy efficiency and sustainability, penalties for the non-compliances.